Open your 3D file in SketchUp by using Command Ctrl O. Next, start changing your textures opening V-Ray. I'm not going to use any exclusive textures, but the ones by default. Find a suitable texture for your project. I'm choosing a metallic one for this icon I designed. I'll place the texture over my icon, selecting it with the spacebar, and filling it using the bucket tool. I'm going to create some sphere lights, choosing them in the toolbar, placing them where I want them to be, and moving them around, pressing M again. With V-Ray, I'm gonna change its render settings to an interactive one, and then I'm going to click on the lighting settings to modify my sphere light's luminosity. Render with the teapot. Notice this render isn't coming out quite right. I'm going to change more textures on my model, this time using standard materials offered by SketchUp. Going to the Material tab, clicking on Colors, I'll use a white color. Continue on changing textures with the bucket and selecting each geometry group. I'll vary in between white and dark gray. Then, click on V-Ray again to modify these color textures. I'm changing reflection and refraction options, giving a glossy look to my selection. I'll be modifying my lights again by changing colors. Now, I'll move on to change the background geometry. I'm looking for some kind of wine cloth texture, so I'm opening the fabric folder. Once I find one, I'll place it and change my render setting into a progressive render. The render is finished. Save a JPEG on a RGB channel and another JPEG on a black and white channel as demonstrated. Open Photoshop. Open your saved images. Notice how you have two versions of your images. One is going to be your main picture and the second is going to become your depth map. Go to the Channel tab and hide channels until you get the information on the image that you need. Duplicate your original layer. Try to get a black and white image. I'm duplicating layers to differentiate the model that's right in front of me from the background that's supposed to be further away from my side. I'm going to Selection, select from Colors. Use the automatic dropper tool to click on the background color, which is now blue, so it's different from the rest of the image. I'm manually selecting parts that were missing. Using the linear selection tool, I'm zooming up on the image and clicking around the spaces that were not in a blue range to perfect my selection. With Ctrl U, I'm changing the color hue to a dark color. I'm using the color selection tool again to select the background. Then click on a new layer and use the paint bucket tool to paint black. This will be differentiating my background from my icon. I'm saving the original color image with the Save for Web option. Remember to have the quality at 100% and to save it as a JPEG. Back again with my depth map image, I'll utilize it to separate layers on my original color image. Clicking on the clone tool over the background layer, clean the background until you have a solid texture. Right-click on the mouse anywhere inside the canvas to change its pencil shape, size, and rigidity. Now I have two different layers. I'm checking around to see if it's got some mistakes here and there to fix them before continuing on the next layer. Using the blending options by right-clicking above the layers, overlay a color. This time use a black color for the background and a white color for the object. I cleansed the thin connection from the image because it was too thin for Facebook to read it. Fix the color contrast by double-clicking on the effect you applied over your layers and try to lighten up a bit the background layer. This will tell Facebook where exactly the background is. The darker it is, the further away it will be. Save or web both your images. Remember, naming these files is extremely important. I'm naming my color image as FB, and for my depth map, I'm adding underscore depth right next to the original name I used. This will allow Facebook to recognize both images and join them into a single 3D image. Go to your Facebook page, upload both these images, and wait. Now check around to see if your depth is correct, and if it is, just click on pause. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe. Click on the bell to stay tuned. Thanks for watching.